Hi everyone, in this video we will see how to do a correlation in LoadRunner. So this is one of the recorded script of JPEG store in LoadRunner. So while doing correlation to do a replay or to make multiple user, so what we need to see is we need to do what values we can do correlation. So here we can see one of the value which is chase session ID is sending in the URL, so we can correlate this value and we can correlate the value of source page and FP. So how to identify which values can be correlated? So if you go to the form data or the URL, so if the data is not selected by the user or if the data is not entered by the user and the value is not changing on each iterations, like if you tried manually for a couple of times and the value of your post data is not changing, then you can ignore those value. And if the values which are changing on each manual flow change, manual, when you try it manually, it was changing, then you need to do that value of correlation. So if you refresh your page, the session ID will change on every launch, and the source page and the FP will change on every iteration or every time you do manually. You need to check it manually before you decide whether you need to do correlation for that value or not. So you need to do it manually, and you need to compare recording and manual flow, and you need to see the values, are they changing or not. If they are not changing, you can ignore directly the value, and if it's possible to do parameterization, we can do parameterization. Like example, if in our case we are using username and password as an input, so those values we can do parameterization. But how to do that correlation? So we'll see that in correlation. Still now we'll see how to do correlation and what are the options we have for correlation. So this is the value it was sending. So to see that value, we need to see the above request. We have only one request above. So right click on this, go to snapshot. In the snapshot, you will have two options: recording and replay. So in the recording, go to the response data. See whether you have it in your response, or you have that in your response. So copy this value, and create a regular expression or left boundary, right boundary to your request. So web break save. Click F1. You will have multiple functions available for correlation in C protocol and HTML protocol. Web underscore save underscore ex. This is the one function what we have. Web break save. So web break do control space. Web break save param. Web break save xpath. Web break save ex. Web break save param. So click on web break save param. Go to F1. It will show you the example what we can use of. So before that, I'm copying my expression here, commenting it. Come to web break save ex. So this is left boundary, right boundary, and list of attributes. So I'm taking. We can take one of the example here. Web break save param ex. So we have different options here. Web break save param. We can use web break save param ex. Web break save regex. So in ex is the example of left boundary and right boundary. So now I will take this as a left boundary. This as a left boundary, and double code as a right boundary. So we'll go to the snapshot once again, but taking the right boundary. The right boundary is this. So we'll take this as a right boundary. Right boundary. Yeah, this is the right boundary. So to avoid the double code, This is the options we have. So ordinal all machines will get all the values. So we need ordinal 1 and save length -1 now. So we'll take ordinal 1. Okay, so this is now the parameter name. We'll give the parameter name which is session ID. Will use starts with C underscore. So C underscore generation is my variable, and there is a left boundary with ignore case, right boundary with ignore case, ordinal 1, and the URL encoding. And this is one of the option we can use, or we can use break param regex also. So regex is like the parameter name. What we need to give, we give the parameter name as session ID, and next parameter is reg regular expression, regular expression. So the regular expression what we can use here is remove this value, use dot start question mark, ignore case, okay, and comma. We can use last here. We can last here. And if you want the ordinals, or if you want to add the ordinal scope, search default, search filters as a body, search filters as a body, search filters as a body. So we are not changing anything. So we have two ways here, two options what we can use of. So I'm searching filter in the body, parameter name, and the regular expression, and the last. So here, if you want, you can give the ordinal, and if not found, warning. If it's not found, if you don't want, if it is generally, if the correlation value is not found, then the script will throw an exception. And script has failed, the transaction failed or script was failed. So if you don't want to fail the script but still want to continue, then you can use not found equal to warning. Then it will give you just a warning if it is not found in your script. So these are available options what we have here. So now just we'll take one of this parameter, one of this pattern, and we'll see the correlation. If it misses, then we can change the regular expression as per the expression, and we can try it. So I'm replaying it. Just before replaying, I need to enable the parameter substitution. I have not done that. Uh, just I need to enable parameter runtime settings, log external log parameter substitution. Close the box. So it was saying error. The required data format extension enable runtime settings. So data format. So we don't need this def as well. Def as well. Now replay it, or you can remove this from here. Catalog action generation ID. I'm running it. Now if you see generation ID is captured. Now we will use a regex pattern. We'll use a regex pattern to correlate our value. We'll use the same variable name toward collision script. So yeah, just before replay and compiling it, let's compile successfully. Then start replay. We'll see that. Unrecognized misplace. Go to the regex function. So example parameter name. So we have Mr. variable name and parameter. Go to this, so parameter name and replay it. Yeah, it was passed and see the value what it has captured. So we have seen the script with the two possible values what we captured with rubric save param ex and rubric save param regex. And based on the response time with the JSON, then we can do the rubric save param underscore JSON. If it is XML, then the rubric save param underscore XPath or attribute. So if it is in, like in JMeter, it's a CSS attribute. In LoadRunner, we have an attribute attr rubric web save param underscore. If you see, this is the attribute, so param name, tag name, extract name, attribute, and we can take the example of attribute and we can use it. So if any of the function, if you don't know how to use it, just select the function and click F1. It will help you to the examples of that function. F1. It will open you the rubric save from attribute. So here this is example. We can use of the parameter name and tag name, which tag you want, input tag or CSS tag, what you want to do, extract value, what value you want to extract the value. So the attribute, which attribute you want to extract it. So name or value or type checkbox or whatever. So ID. So whatever you want to extract it. So you can give the value here and go want to can give example here. Open attribute example. So see if you see that want to input tag or value, name the session ID, the input name variable. So let's take this as an example in our current script. So just take if you go now currently the value what we are using here, it's not an input variable or a URL variable. So it will capture complete value now. So we don't have session ID as an input variable. Session ID as an input variable. So we have that as an URL. So that's a bit tougher. Forget that, but we can use this attribute for one of the input field. What we're using here is using source page and FP. Okay. So in this request, if you go to this request, you will have the input fields. Come to a snapshot response. Here, if you see the fields, yeah, we have the fields here. Value. So now we need input value. Name is source page. Okay. So now what I'm doing is here. Value name of the field is underscore source. Type is hidden type. So what type of field you want to capture? So it's a text or something. What kind? So we have text here. If you see that it's type equal to text, name is a source, value we want to capture, and it's input tag. So yes, so this is the input tag, and I will give the name as c underscore source. C underscore source page. So I will pass this here. We'll see what value we capture in our script. Okay, is the web underscore save attribute? No. No, hidden source page. Yeah, now replay it. I'm replaying it. So the C underscore source page has to capture the value of your input hidden type with the name of source page. So we can set the value, we can choose which of the parameter is best to capture. So it has captured the value and it has sent in your request. So capture the value, this is the value. So based on the type, so if you have any values in your URL, then you can go for left boundary and right boundary. If you have the values of your input field, then you can use the attribute save underscore attribute what we have here, attribute. And if you want to like if you want to add extend like freehand, then you can go for regex. So as per your response time, you can decide the what parameter, what the correlation function you can use. I hope this helps you a lot. Thanks for listening to this.